So if we look really quickly at the innovator solution, it's different than Innovator's Dilemma. This is another book by Clayton and his team, Michael Rayner. They talk about that. It might be something you want to have on your book list. Maybe. It does bring up more of a corporate issue with, I love the idea that small teams of software developers can crush the old models of big enterprise failures. And that's what I like about the industry that we're in. And as a marketer, those of you who have clients in marketing, done properly, we can really break models, whether it be client acquisition models, client retention models. We can break those old models and create new innovative ones that are far superior than the big industries. So the innovative solution is a way to stay in competition with yourself. In other words, always be in a constant state of innovation. Be willing to render yourself obsolete, change your software, even break the whole thing if something changes radically. But at the same time, what you'll find is that you have more solid equipment much faster than anyone else. The ISDNA layer of our PLMM system is a foundation state of question-based product innovation, both cybernetic, that's human and machine, that's the questions, in order to constantly create better questions and products before your competition even gets the chance. That is what the ultimate positioning actually is. If you're punishing yourself or competing with yourself, is a better language, better than anyone else, and you're harder on yourself than anyone else, they don't even have a chance to cut you to the chase. So you're already incorporating new ideas. And that becomes obvious in your white papers, your material, your perspective, the way you communicate through social media, the way you communicate your brand. It becomes obvious to everybody else that nobody thinks like you. And then on top of that, you get the added benefit of distinction, which is what separates you from everyone else in the social media networks. This is a very little misunderstood social trend that a lot of companies don't understand. So, this is being done by collecting FAQs, frequently asked questions, collecting SAQs, should ask questions, in relationship to those, and by zooming into the gray area between them, just like on that circle of scientific method, we have the frequently asked questions here, should ask questions there. We want to pull the gray area out, and that's what you use for marketing. I see the future of all marketing being gray area marketing. Cast doubt or dissonance or extract doubt that's already there from news feeds, questioning that doubt, and of course you know the real answer. You provide the real answer and a better solution. People click on it because it's gray area, because they're attracted to gray area headlines, subject matters like a moth is attracted to flame. They click on it. I've seen a 20 to 30% increase in clicks when I focus on gray area headlines and open question marks. Use questions instead of answers in Twitter accounts. You get more clicks on questions than you do statements.
So inbound marketing is now gray area marketing.
Yes, gray area, and this is a trademark Network Empire. You heard it from us first. We also call it interesting but incomplete, IBI. Okay, but remember the gray area. Provide better answers to questions and problems after you know what the gray area is. And by providing better content, responding to these questions, once you get them to the area where the gray area is questioning, but if they want the real solution, you give them a bit of it, but then they have to either give you an email address, log in, buy a book, buy an ebook. Somewhere along the line, they got to pay you for the real answers. By innovating better products and services with results. Okay, I think that's it. So here's where you want to be, gray area marketing. Your distinct industry position, formerly called USP, is in the middle between the SAQ and FAQ. You are going to be the ultimate provider of fusing questions and should ask questions. Okay. So, questions are the ultimate positioning technology since machines cannot formulate a better question. We talked about this. Larry Page is quoted as saying, this is Google, a lot of our Google systems already use learning techniques. The ultimate search engine would understand everything in the world. It would understand everything that you asked it and give you back the exact right thing instantly. You could ask, what would I ask Larry? And it would tell you. What should I ask Larry today? This is Larry Page on artificial intelligence. And this is really what, whoever builds this first will own the world, and then moving towards that, because you can humanize social algorithms and predictive algorithms with real questions and with keywords. Okay. So the closest we can get to a better question machine, okay? Now if we had a better question machine, I would not be taking you through the ISDNA process. This is why we just had a conversation with Brian that said, Brian said, one of my clients said, oh my God, this Kraken Domain 1 Studio output is the most comprehensive data that I've ever seen. I paid $50,000 for another market research company who positioned their value at $50,000 price tag, and I provided half of the data that ours did. correct?
It was even a tenth of.
A tenth, okay. I'm being generous.
But yes.
I'm being generous. I used to be in market research. We used to take on clients for $50,000 to $100,000 with Jay Townley.
Yeah.
All those other things. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's all positioning. Because guess what market research guys are getting paid for? Better questions. That's what you're getting paid for, and you charge a lot for it because machines can't do it. So our job as market researchers and as the FAQ level is to prepare for this keyword and theme organization by making sure that you've used up all the human artificial intelligent questions and discovered the painkillers. We call this neuromarketing. This is the stuff that humans do. This is the stuff that humans respond to. Okay? And we'll get into this. Is a little bit heavy for this conversation. It's called cybernetics. So we'll move into the next thing. So ISDNA equals innovator's dilemma, industry solution. It's another word we have to. We cover this topic very well in the Network Empire members area. I strongly suggest you listen to Sue Bell and myself, where we talk for about a half an hour on artificial intelligence. Sue is better equipped to respond to the technical aspects and the reality behind processing artificial intelligence. It's a lot of fun, and you may think I'm waxing too esoteric. I'm being literal. This stuff directly affects your business potential, not knowing about artificial intelligence, because guess what? I found out from Sue. Latent semantic indexing, co-occurrence, all the processes and algorithms that we have in Kraken, TLKT, they are considered and do fall under a subcategory of artificial intelligence. That means that you, if you're using our tools, are using a portion of what Larry Page considers to be artificial intelligent protocol as part of it. Okay, so listen to painkiller versus vitamin, audio creating, download audio zip. We'll include a link to this section next to this video. Is that it? Okay, we will review the process and we'll give you, I'm not sure what this slide is about. In that section we'll give you the top secret method not discussed anywhere on the web yet, which is true. An advanced method of micro content curation syndication that will decrease your content planning time down to 2,000. Let me decode this because this was for guys who haven't yet purchased the course, which we're now giving. To decode this, what I'm trying to tell you, it's been good talking with Brian, with Matt there at lunch, because I'm aware of the areas that I'm not communicating. Micro content, you could replace with human designed headlines rather than machine designed headlines. And you're saying the same thing. By micro content, I'm talking the ultimate piece of micro content, thanks to Twitter, has been reduced to 100 and, what is it, Brian, 446?
Under 140 characters, roughly, yeah.
You have that little space to, because that's now changing everybody's brain. I know it's changed my daughter's brain. I can only talk to them in sound bites now.
Yes. Same issue with me too.
Wow, OMG, time for breakfast. See you in there.
Oh yes.
And I gotta wait 5 more minutes before I say something.
I'm actually setting up a membership site for our generation just to understand the acronyms of our own kids.
Right. So for my daughters, I find that I'm more effective as a speaker when I think in terms of tweetable sentences.
Absolutely.
And guys, just so everyone listening knows, that scares me. I mean, I believe what my mentor, Jaron Lanier, somebody who I really use a lot of his work to write about, you are not a gadget. I believe we have major brain changes coming. But in the meantime, let's make a ton of money by understanding it. I'm not sure what we do.
There's a good one for you. Speak English, your account will be suspended.
So micro content doesn't have to mean headlines, but that's the smallest common denominator. And we also talk about micro content as maybe paragraphs from an article that we chunked up using a technology we're building called the tweet extractor. We have all kinds of ways that you can continually syndicate out when you really understand RSS through multiple different ways. You can repurpose a single article about 16 times more than your average person. I say 16 because I'm multiplying the RSS feeds in my mind that I cut out of the categories. Okay? So planning time by 2,000. Content curation. So there are many places to extract your frequently asked questions, right? We've talked about this. Yeah. SurveyMonkey, Google's Index, blah, 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 blah. You can find a bunch of places to get them. You want to auto. Matt and Sue have made it very easy for us to do that by creating a quick bot, which will be ultimately integrated into later versions of Domain Studio into a web-based service, where we're able to go on Quora, type in a keyword, extract a bunch of questions, and those questions have been created by human beings. Quora is a company that's been created by some of the startup members of Facebook, and I think they are on to a pretty good idea because it's hard to knock Quora off because you can automate the question processes, but it's really nice because you can type your keywords in and find out, based on the person, what kind of questions are being asked. And even if they're automating it and making those processes more diluted, you can still determine the human factor around large groups of questions. And it's really, really good for that. There are two primary categories of FAQ extraction within the ISDNA process: exoteric and esoteric. Rather than give you a bunch of bogged down terminology, exo simply means external, everything outside of your organization, things like Quora, right? Or then there's esoteric, things inside, like Zendesk, or the gigantic database of help desk requests that we have coming in. And I mentioned this in an earlier video. I saw a fantastic quote by a CEO and by a company that was selling a business control panel, similar to what DWS does, but mostly for CEOs dealing with internal departmental stuff. And the statement in the ad was amazingly accurate. It said, it's easier for most CEOs to understand what's going on outside in the greater world than it is inside their own company. We've changed all that. Similarly, DWS is doing the same thing for the projected estimates, calculations, and projections for your online business promotion. Most CEOs have easier time going to the web and searching Google, and then they think they know something about marketing just based on stuff that's going on. We're saying that you can know both internal, we mix both your internal results, that's your budget, your decisions, your business decisions, all these other projections, with the outside results to give you a cybernetic process. And it gives you a much more accurate way of combining exoteric questions with esoteric questions. But you got to do that initial work of frequently asked questions of ISDNA. Okay, so the exoteric method of FAQ extraction is the most common. Okay, our favorite source for this cache is Quora. This is what's going on out there, outside of your website, outside of your company, And see our Quora extractor course. We've got that for you.